everyone, welcome back to my book nook. One of my favorite genres to read is romantasy, but I also really love a good high fantasy series like Wheel of Time, The Assassin's Apprentice, The Stormlight Archives, Mistborn, and I often get questions: if I like epic fantasy, what type of romantasy should I read? So I thought I would make this video giving you all types of different romantasy that I think might scratch your itch if you're an epic fantasy lover and you want to dabble in romantasy. The first author in general I want to start with is Kingfisher. She tends to write non-traditional female main characters. One of my favorite things about Kingfisher is that she'll take tropes and subvert them. Case in point would be her Saints of Steel series. That's where I would start with romantasy. If you like historical fantasy, this takes place in her Clockwork Boys world, but you don't have to read those books to get what's going on in these. These are like interconnected standalones, and the first one is about a paladin who lost his god and he runs into this perfumer. The paladin rescues the lady from these guys that are giving her a hard time, and these are cozy, but the romances in them are cute. They're funny. I love T. Kingfisher's wit. I love the non-traditional characters. Like, you can see the variety of characters that are in these books on these covers. So if you want something a bit more cozy, lighthearted, this is where I would start. Also, if you want something with a bit more to it, this is a quest story. It's about a lady falls in love with a sentient sword. Hala unexpectedly gets this inheritance and she doesn't want to marry one of her family members. I think it's her cousin or something. It's been a while since I've read this. Her family is trying to be sneaky and trying to marry her off so they can steal her inheritance, and Hala is locked away in a room and she comes upon this sword named Sarkis, and whoever finds the sword has to protect the person who stumbles upon the sword, which happens to be Hala. And they go on this adventure so that way that Hala can keep her inheritance. This is funny, it's witty, it's all of the things that I love about T. Kingfisher. So if you want more lighthearted romantasy, and this would be where I would start, especially if you want older characters. Okay, if you want something a bit more modern set with Eastern mythos, I would try The God Nagumiho, especially if you like K-pop Demon Hunters. After I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, I was looking at books that gave off the same vibes as that movie, and this duology was recommended. This is a completed duology. So this is about Kim Hani, who used to be someone called the Scarlet Fox. She was bad. She did bad things, but she just left that life. Kim works in a coffee shop that is frequented by the Trickster God. And the Trickster God, after a demon has escaped, the Trickster God is tasked with finding the demon, but also killing the Scarlet Fox, which is Kim. So Kim is like, no, we're not having that. So she tries to undermine the Trickster God's investigation by teaming up with him. It's a fun time. There's serious moments, and the sequel is just as good as this one. Very interesting. I like the Eastern mythology, Korean mythology in this. I think it was a fun read. It definitely hit that K-pop Demon Hunters itch if that's what you want. It's set in a modern setting. I just spent 10 minutes in another video already talking about this book, but this was one of my favorite books last year. This is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is a prequel to the Divine Rivals duology that I have not read, so you don't have to read that to understand what's going on here, and it doesn't really spoil that duology. The writing in this is absolutely stunning. One of the best love stories I have ever read. You can feel the want and yearning that these two characters have for each other. This is about Matilda, who is a messenger goddess who is hiding a secret from the other gods. She has to hide her powers because the pantheon of gods in this world are greedy and will kill for the other gods' power. And then we have Owen, our main male character, and he writes a letter to Matilda and is never answered. Time passes. Owen has become pretty standoffish. He doesn't really believe in the power of the gods anymore, but one day Matilda just so happens to stumble through his window with a letter to give to him. It follows their journey and what they would sacrifice to stay together. There's forbidden love, and this is a standalone. The next is for anyone who may be looking for a lady night book. These were my two favorites. They came out last year. The first is The Isle in the Silver Sea, and the next is The Everlasting. They both have kind of the same premise, where the characters in these books are trying to rewrite their stories and dealing with what they sacrifice so that they can pursue their love. Both of these have stunning, beautiful writing. I think Isle in the Silver Sea has some of the best visuals that I've read in a romantasy. And also Isle in the Silver Sea is a sapphic love story. So there's a witch and a lady knight and they fall in love. They keep getting reincarnated and they're trying to rewrite their story so that they can stay together. There's like a cool magic system in here that was a little hard to understand, but basically there's like tales and they're trying to rewrite their tales so that way that they can live and stay in love and not fated to die in every lifetime. It's kind of like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, both of these. For the Everlasting, this is dealing with a queen who's trying to keep the legend of Una the Everlasting alive by sending Owen, who is a scholar, back in time to write Una's story so that the queen can stay in power. And Owen and Una fall in love, so they're trying to rewrite their story so that they can stay together. Both of these have a lot of self-sacrifice and I will love you in every lifetime type of trope. Both of these are really good and would recommend both of them highly. The next one I have is kind of more for the vibes. If you like gothic vibes, Rachel Gillig is your author to go to. She wrote The Night and the Moth as well, that just came out last year, and the sequel comes out, Knave and the Moon comes out this year. But this is a completed duology by Rachel Gillig, and it's One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. And this has tarot magic. There's a nightmare that lives inside of Elspeth's head, and they are trying to find the tarot card that can basically save the kingdom. And there's like this mist, and if they go out into the mist, it kills them. I don't really read Rachel Gillig's books for the romance. There is romance in these, but I read them more for the vibes. She has really good gothic settings in these, and the way she describes things, just it's so atmospheric. If you're looking for something else that's a bit more cozy, but by the end of the third book, it kind of changes direction. There's a lot more stakes. I would recommend Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. The first one is very cozy. It's about Emily goes to this village and she's trying to gather information about the local fairies to put in an encyclopedia. This is told in almost like a journal format, kind of. And there's a romance in here. This is kind of cozy, but there are more stakes to it. I love Emily. She's smart. She's a little awkward, and she has an animal companion. And I love the male main character in this. He turns up when he's not welcomed by Emily, but he ends up having his own secrets, and I think this is really fun. The fairies in this are not like ACOTAR fairies. They are traditional fairies. They're mischievous. They're dark. They get up to no good. They do bad things to the people around them. And Emily doesn't want to do with anyone in the village, but the village just is so welcoming and warm to her, and she warms up to them. And it's just, gosh, this is so good. And I just love the romance. It's so sweet, especially by the end. And this is a completed trilogy, so you can read it all in one go, and they're not super long either. So you can call me basic all you want, but this is my god tier romantasy series, and I will take no comments on this. This is what I think the blueprint for most romantasy is Throne of Glass. This is a 8-book series. It is complete. There is a highly contested reading order for it, but basically this is about Selena, and she is enslaved. She is a former assassin, current assassin, who is coming to the king to win her freedom. We follow her journey through 8 books, her romantic journey, and also her journey to bring back magic to the land and free her people. There's a lot of criticisms for it, so I would look those up and see if it is for you, but personally I really enjoyed this. There is fae, there is spice in the later books. The first few books, there's not really any. They go from like young adult to new adult to adult, in my opinion, so just be aware of that. Now, there is a contested reading order for this. I did the emotional damage reading order. I did Throne of Glass first, with Assassin's Blade coming third. That's how I did it with the tandem read. That's the way I would recommend it personally. I think you get enough background in Throne of Glass where Selena is still really fun to read, and you get the general idea of her characters, and then when you read Assassin's Blade, it's like a punch in the gut. A lot of people like to read Assassin's Blade first so you get the background on Selena, because those novellas in Assassin's Blade were published previous to the publishing of the actual rest of the Throne of Glass series. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. I recommend reading Throne of Glass first and Assassin's Blade later with the tandem read, but that's just me. Okay, so I have a couple of more spicy options if you want some fun, spicy times. I would recommend Zodiac Academy. It's a bully romance, so it's not for everyone. I really like it, but I don't think if you're coming from being a fantasy reader, I don't know if that would be your cup of tea. But if you like Dungeons and Dragons and you want a fun romantasy and you like Critical Role, why not try Tusk Love? This is based on the book that is found in the Critical Role campaign, and Faye Guanzon, she's the author of the Hurricane Wars, wrote this, and it's so good. It's so spicy. Gosh, I just love it. Look at the cover art of that. The story is about Guinevere, who is just trying to be the perfect daughter. She is going to marry into a noble family, be an obedient wife. She's on her way to sell her parents' merchandise, but also marry into the noble family. And on the way, her world is turned upside down when her traveling party is attacked by bandits. Something happens where Guinevere just catches everything on fire because she has some unexpected magic that happens. And she's found by Oscar, who is an orc, who's an oak moss color. I love that his skin tone is described as oak moss. I love that description in this book. And they basically go on a quest to take Guinevere to the noble family so that she can marry and do what she's supposed to. And along the way, they fall in love. It's pretty lighthearted and it's very spicy. Just keep that in mind when you go to read it. But it's really fun. I liked it. But yeah, I hope you got some recommendations for this video. Let me know if you read any of these down in the comments. I would love to know. I hope I did good. I hope you got something from this video. If you want to watch a VTuber who yaps a lot about epic fantasy, sci-fi, and romantasy, please subscribe to this channel. If you like gaming content, subscribe to my Twitch stream and gaming YouTube channel down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.